Hello again, and welcome back to this quiet pocket of the night. It is so good to have you here, resting under the same vast darkness that stretches all the way to the sun. Tonight, we will let our minds drift towards solar storms, those mysterious whispers of power that travel across the cosmos while you lie so still. So let your pillow cradle your head, soften your brow, and allow your breathing to become slow and steady. Now, let us set out together. I will share with you the story of the sun's most magnificent moods, but piece by piece, in a soft and steady rhythm. You do not need to remember a single thing. If you fall asleep along the way, that is exactly where this is meant to lead. If these gentle wanderings help you let go, I would be honored if you subscribed, so I can meet you here whenever you need to rest. Now, let the first fact float gently into your mind. Imagine a September night in 1859, when the world was still lit by gas and candlelight. Telegraph machines suddenly began to hum and spit bright blue sparks, all on their own, disconnected from any battery. The Carrington Event, the most powerful solar storm ever recorded, had arrived with a ghostly, invisible hand. Operators found their wires crackling with a strange electricity, some even working without power, as if the sun itself had reached down to whisper through the copper lines. Across the globe, the skies blazed with crimson and green auroras, so bright that people could read newspapers at midnight. It was a quiet, bewildering marvel, the sun's distant breath fueling machines and painting the heavens while the world slept in wonder. Deep within the sun, unimaginable forces sometimes release a solar flare, a sudden burst of radiance like a flower of pure light blooming on the star's surface. Each flare carries the energy of millions of hydrogen bombs, yet it unfolds in the vacuum of space with perfect silent grace. There is no sound, no shockwave, only a brilliant pulse that races outward at the speed of light. In just 8 minutes, that quiet journey of photons crosses the 93 million miles to touch our planet, arriving as softly as the first ray of dawn. It is a momentary gentle flicker from our star, so swift and silent that you would never know it had passed. Sometimes the sun also releases something heavier and slower, called a coronal mass ejection. Picture a vast billowing cloud of plasma and tangled magnetic fields, like a soap bubble of fire drifting away from the solar surface. While the flare's light reaches us in minutes, these magnetic clouds wander through the dark with a more leisurely pace. They take 2, 3, sometimes 4 days to travel the same distance, moving as a silent, expanding breath across the solar system. When they finally arrive, they do not crash or explode, they simply envelop the Earth like a slow, warm sigh from our star, carrying its ancient energy into our magnetic neighborhood.
Our planet is wrapped in a soft, invisible shield called the magnetosphere. You can imagine it as a delicate, flowing cloak of magnetic lines that arches out into space and curves back again. When those solar particles come streaming toward us, this gentle shield guides them away, diverting the sun's breath around and past us. It is much like a river flowing around a smooth, rounded stone, water parting and sliding along the edges without ever disturbing the stone's core. Day and night, through every season, this embrace quietly preserves the stillness of our world, ensuring that the sun's power flows harmlessly overhead while we sleep below.
That diverted energy does not vanish. It transforms into the most beautiful light shows our planet knows. The Aurora Borealis and Aurora Australis are like visual echoes of solar storms, painted across the night sky in shimmering curtains of emerald, violet, and rose. When those stray particles finally meet the gases high in our upper atmosphere, they release a soft, luminous glow that dances without sound. The lights ripple and sway as if moved by a slow celestial breath, folding and unfolding in hues that feel almost liquid. It is the sun's fury turned into a gentle lullaby of color, a drifting, floating radiance that has soothed watchers for millennia, right above the quiet, sleeping Earth. Imagine a night in the tropics, the sky usually dark, but suddenly a shimmering curtain of green and violet begins to weave across the heavens. In 1859, the sun unleashed such a powerful storm that its auroral glow reached the Caribbean, a place where such sights are almost unknown. People there, waking to a sky softly burning with light, mistook it for an early dawn, a gentle mistake born of wonder. The celestial ballet, usually reserved for polar skies, had traveled thousands of miles to dance above palm trees and warm seas. It must have felt like a dream, a quiet hint of the sun's hidden power. The sun, that steady presence we rely on, actually breathes in a slow pulse spanning 11 years. This rhythm takes it from a quiet solar minimum, when its face is calm and unblemished, to a vibrant maximum, a time of restless energy. During that peak, dark cool patches called sunspots speckle the surface like scattered ink on a golden page. These sunspots are not just marks, they are cradles for solar flares, gentle incubators of sudden brightness. Picture them as nurseries where light itself gathers itself for a leap. The whole cycle feels like the slow, steady heartbeat of a distant giant, a rhythm we can sense but barely feel. High above, in a silence so profound it has no comparison, our satellites drift like metallic fireflies, weightless and patient. Occasionally they feel the warmth of a solar storm, a subtle brush of charged particles that stirs their delicate circuits. These delicate machines, so far from home, act as our outstretched senses, feeling the sun's distant moods. That quiet touch can ripple down to Earth, gently influencing how we communicate across vast distances, nudging our signals with a kind of cosmic grace. It's a quiet reminder that our glowing star is not just a distant light but an active, breathing entity that touches our lives in unseen ways. When your phone call flickers or a navigation signal wavers, it might be the sun sending a soft whisper through space, a reminder of our delicate connection. The moon, our silent companion, has no air to soften the sun's touch, no magnetic cloak to deflect its energy. There, the solar wind falls upon the surface in a raw, unfiltered stream, straight from the star's heart. The lunar landscape, still and gray, absorbs this ancient flow in perfect, timeless peace. There is no sound, no weather, just an eternal acceptance of the sun's gentle gift. This serene satellite, with no atmosphere to scatter the light, holds the sun's energy like a quiet secret, never releasing it except in its own slow thermal whisper. Day after age, the sun's particles embed themselves into the dust, a quiet conversation between the solar wind and the ancient regolith. It's a canvas of subtle change, never protected, always bathed in the sun's direct gaze, remaining a silent record of that enduring dialogue. Deep in the heart of the sun, gravity and heat mingle in a gentle, enduring embrace, quietly fusing hydrogen into helium. This is the sun's most profound secret, a slow alchemy that lights up our entire world. Think of it as the sun's silent, steady heartbeat, a rhythm that has never faltered in billions of years. It is not a violent explosion but a steady, patient radiance that takes thousands of years to travel from the core to the surface. Once it escapes, that soft light streams outward, painting the planets in a warm, golden bath. The glow that touches your skin on a sunny day is ancient, born long ago in that quiet furnace. Every dawn is a direct gift from this deep and peaceful fusion, a tender reminder of the star that cradles us. Let your mind drift back to the year 1859, to a night when the cosmos itself seemed to whisper a secret. The Carrington Event, the most immense solar storm in our memory, bathed the darkness in a soft, luminous glow. Across the northeastern United States, people woke to a sky so gently radiant that they could read their newspapers at midnight, the pages illuminated by this celestial light. It must have felt like a quiet miracle, a hush falling over the world as day lingered in the night. Far below, telegraph systems became unsteady conduits for this solar energy, their wires buzzing with the storm's deep heartbeat. Operators discovered, with quiet wonder, that they could send messages even after removing their batteries, the sun's power itself carrying their signals through the silent, glowing land. Now, shift your gaze to the source of this phenomenon, to our sun itself. Consider it not as a distant lamp, but as a living, breathing entity of immense power. From its chaotic surface, solar flares arise as vast, floating ribbons of plasma and magnetic energy, like delicate streamers dancing in a cosmic breeze. They gently release light across the entire electromagnetic spectrum, from long radio waves to brief gamma rays, an invisible shower of energy. These quiet waves set out on a silent journey through the great void of space, traveling at speeds that bring them to us in just minutes. Upon arrival, they graze our upper atmosphere, creating a soft, unseen dance that flickers and shimmers. It's a gentle interaction, a subtle connection that reminds us how closely woven we are with our star. And from these flares, envision something even larger, a slow and silent spectacle. Coronal mass ejections, or CMEs, are colossal clouds of magnetized particles that separate from the sun with the grace of fog rolling over a silent sea. They drift away like slow-moving curtains of light, unfurling through the darkness of space with a peaceful, unhurried rhythm. When one of these clouds gently embraces Earth's magnetic field, it creates a subtle ripple effect, a series of soft undulations that spread around our world. This calm embrace can whisper through our satellite communications, causing a momentary stir in the signals we rely on. But it's all part of a grand, serene symphony playing out between our planet and its star, a dance of immense but gentle forces. Then, look to the polar skies, where this solar wind paints its nocturnal masterpiece. The Aurora Borealis in the north and the Aurora Australis in the south are the luminous signatures of our star's breath meeting our planet's protective shield. Imagine veils of shimmering light in green, violet, and crimson, floating silently across the cold, dark air. They are gently guided by Earth's magnetic poles, swaying and rippling like curtains of soft fire. Standing under such a sky, you might feel a profound stillness, a quiet awe at the beauty of these dancing lights. It's a timeless spectacle, a silent gift from the sun that has inspired wonder and legends for millennia. And finally, consider the invisible guardian that makes this delicate balance possible. Earth is enveloped in a vast, unseen cocoon called the magnetosphere, a silent shield that extends far into space. This gentle protector deflects the majority of the sun's charged particles, guiding them around our world with a quiet grace. Picture a smooth stone in a flowing stream. With water moving softly around it, that is how the solar wind flows past us, a steady, peaceful current. This constant embrace ensures that we and our fragile technologies remain sheltered from the sun's more intense outbursts. It is a silent, steadfast guardian, a cosmic safeguard we rarely pause to appreciate in our daily lives. The sun has a heartbeat, a slow and steady rhythm that pulses across 22 years. Imagine it as a quiet tide, softly swelling from a time of deep calm into a moment of vibrant energy. During the peak of this cycle, the sun's face becomes adorned with countless sunspots, each one a tiny island of cool darkness on an ocean of warm light. These spots are really places where magnetic fields concentrate, like gentle knots in a luminous tapestry. They drift across the solar surface, silent and serene, before gently fading back into the golden glow at the cycle's end. It is a celestial dance of rest and awakening, a rhythm etched into the very fabric of our star. In the quiet of March 1989, a solar storm reached out across space and softly brushed the Hydro-Quebec power grid. This was not a dramatic or fierce event, but a gentle whisper of energy that caused a brief pause in electricity for millions. Lights in homes and streets dimmed into silence for a moment, as if the world was holding its breath. It served as a tender reminder of how closely our modern lives are woven into the rhythms of the stars. Our technology, so seemingly robust, is truly a delicate thread in the vast cosmic fabric. The sun, from 93 million miles away, can remind us of that connection with a single silent touch. There is a constant stream that flows from the sun, an invisible river of electrons and protons. It rushes outward at nearly 1,000,000 miles per hour, a speed so immense it could circle the Earth in moments. And yet it moves through the vacuum of space with a ghostly, weightless silence. There is no sound at all, no whisper of wind or hum of motion. Imagine that silent cascade washing over the planets, a ceaseless breath from our star. It fills the solar system unseen and unheard, like a dream flowing through the night. When those solar particles finally reach our world, they meet the upper atmosphere in a gentle, silent dance. They collide with oxygen and nitrogen atoms, and from that kiss of energy, a soft, neon radiance is born. This light is akin to how a neon sign glows in a quiet shop window, but here it unfurls across the entire midnight sky. It weaves a peaceful tapestry of pale green and pink, shimmering like curtains of silk in a slow celestial breeze. The whole process is a quiet miracle, transforming the dark canopy into a scene of living, breathing light. For those who gaze upward, it is a tranquil lullaby of color, gently adrift in the stars. The sun's corona is its outermost veil, an ethereal crown that we can only see during a total solar eclipse. It appears as a pearly white halo, a soft glow that whispers of immense heat and mystery. This plume of plasma extends for millions of miles into the dark, quiet reaches of the solar system. It is like the sun's own breath, frozen in a moment of luminous beauty against the black velvet of space. In that brief eclipse, we glimpse a hidden realm, a silent testament to the star's quiet power. The corona reminds us that even the brightest light has a delicate, secret edge. Hey, still awake? That's okay. You are floating right where you need to be. These solar stories, they are like quiet lullabies from the stars. If you're enjoying this, a like helps other dreamers find this gentle place. Imagine a time long ago, in the year 1859, when the sun released a vast cloud of plasma into the quiet void. This was the Carrington Event, the most powerful solar storm we have ever recorded. The plasma drifted slowly toward Earth, like a whispered secret across the cosmos. When it arrived, the night skies came alive with light. Auroras glowed so brightly that people in the Caribbean and Cuba could read newspapers by their soft, shimmering light. It was a gentle reminder of the sun's quiet power, a soft, ethereal display that turned darkness into a dream, painting the heavens with colors that danced without sound. Solar storms are born from coronal mass ejections, which are giant, floating bubbles of magnetic fields and plasma. Imagine these glowing clouds, lifting from the sun's surface like a gentle breath, gliding through the quiet vacuum of space. For several days, they travel on a silent voyage, undisturbed and patient, following an invisible path. Then, they softly meet Earth's magnetic shield, a warm, protective embrace that welcomes them home. It is a meeting of energies, a slow, graceful union in the vast, dark sea of the cosmos, a reminder of the connections that weave through our solar system. When these solar particles finally arrive, they dance with Earth's magnetic field. This dance creates the Aurora borealis and Aurora australis, delicate ribbons of green and violet light. They softly wave across the polar skies, a silent symphony of colors. It is the quiet harmony between our planet and its star, a visual lullaby that plays out in the cold, dark night. Each shimmer is like a memory from the sun, drifting down to paint the heavens. These lights remind us of the gentle power that surrounds us, a protective glow rather than a storm, soothing the soul with their silent beauty. The sun has a magnetic cycle that breathes in and out every 11 years. It is a slow, rhythmic pulse, like a heartbeat in the vastness of space. During the solar maximum, the sun becomes more active, sending frequent, gentle streams of energy outward. These streams drift toward the outer reaches of the solar system, a quiet expansion of warmth and light. It is a cycle of renewal, a celestial rhythm that marks time in a way we can barely perceive. This gentle breath from the sun touches everything in its path, a soft whisper of energy that connects all the planets. Earth is protected by the magnetosphere, a wide, invisible cocoon of magnetic energy. This shield deflects most solar winds, guiding them toward the quiet poles. It allows our planet to remain a peaceful sanctuary, a haven of life in the solar system. The magnetosphere is like a soft blanket, wrapping Earth in a gentle embrace, filtering the sun's energy so that only the most beautiful lights can enter. Thanks to this protection, we can rest easy, knowing that the cosmos is held at bay by an invisible hand. The solar particles are guided away, like leaves on a still pond, floating to the edges of our world. In the quiet of 1989, a solar storm drifted into Earth's atmosphere like a soft sigh. It reached out and gently touched the power grids of Quebec, Canada. In that moment, a peaceful hush fell over the province as the electricity paused for several hours. Streetlights dimmed, homes grew still, and the world was wrapped in a blanket of quiet stillness. Solar flares are concentrated bursts of light and radiation, traveling at the speed of light itself. They cross the vast distance from the Sun to our planet in just 8 short minutes. Though their power is immense, they mostly interact with the upper atmosphere. There, they create subtle, almost invisible shifts in the ionosphere, a delicate layer where radio waves float and drift like whispers on a breeze. Human curiosity reaches out to touch the Sun directly through the Parker Solar Probe. This brave little spacecraft glides closer to our star than any vessel has ever ventured. It drifts through the Sun's outer atmosphere, the corona, gathering secrets about the warm, flowing winds that dance through the solar system. It listens to the Sun's quiet hum, collecting stories from a place of unimaginable warmth and light. When a solar storm arrives, the night sky itself comes alive with color. The hues of an aurora depend on which gases the particles meet in the air. Oxygen, when touched, glows with a soft green or a deep, tranquil red. Nitrogen adds a delicate touch of blue or purple, painting the velvet darkness like a quiet watercolor dream. Each color is a gentle brushstroke of the Sun's distant whisper. Deep on the Sun's surface, sunspots are cooler, darker regions that look like quiet islands floating in a sea of gold. These silent places are the birthplaces of solar storms. Here, magnetic loops slowly twist and unwind in a graceful, celestial ballet. They stretch and curl like ribbons of shadow and light, holding the peaceful tension that will one day send gentle winds across the cosmic sea toward our sleeping world. Imagine standing beneath a vast, dark sky, when suddenly whispers of light begin to unravel. These are the auroras, delicate streams of color born from the Sun's distant breath. Charged particles travel across space, guided by an unseen hand, before slipping into our atmosphere. They twist and curl like ribbons in a slow, graceful waltz, casting emerald and violet shadows upon the night. It feels as though the heavens are breathing, exhaling a quiet lullaby that soothes the world below. The air grows still as you watch, mesmerized by the silent ballet of light, each shimmer telling a story of a journey from the Sun. Back in history, during a quiet September in 1859, something extraordinary unfolded. A mighty solar flare, a ripple from the Sun, drifted silently toward our world. When it arrived, the energy was so intense that it danced along our telegraph lines, causing them to glow with an ethereal, ghostly light. Imagine the astonishment of telegraph operators, finding they could send messages even without their batteries, powered solely by the Sun's distant whisper. It was a moment when the cosmos touched our technology, a gentle reminder of the forces that wander through space. For a brief time, the ordinary became magical, as the Sun's breath kindled a soft, surreal glow across the land. Enveloping our world is a silent guardian, an invisible shield known as the magnetosphere. It cradles us like a warm, protective embrace, deflecting the Sun's gentle yet persistent breath. Most of the charged particles from solar winds are guided away, slipping around the Earth in a peaceful, unseen current. This magnetic bubble preserves the tranquility of our atmosphere, allowing life to thrive in undisturbed serenity. Without this quiet sentinel, the solar whispers might grow louder, but instead, we rest secure under its watchful care. It is a haven of calm, a soft barrier that turns cosmic energy into a soothing, distant song. Deep within the Sun's radiant face, there are serene dark islands called sunspots. These are cooler realms, quiet regions where the golden light grows dim like shadows resting on a luminous sea. Here, in these calm pockets, magnetic energy gathers slowly, building with patience and grace. It cradles intense activity, holding it gently until the moment comes when it releases, floating away into the vastness of space. Sunspots are the birthplaces of solar storms, where the Sun's inner rhythms pulse and unwind. They appear as peaceful sanctuaries, yet within them stirs the seed of cosmic dances that will eventually touch our night skies. From the Sun's corona, enormous clouds of plasma bloom and drift outward, known as coronal mass ejections. These great silent travelers glide through the emptiness of space, moving at speeds that seem unimaginable, yet they journey with a patient, steady motion. When they eventually reach our Earth, they do not crash or break, but instead engage in a slow, rhythmic dance with our magnetic field. This gentle interaction can gently sway our communications, like a soft tide altering the shoreline. It is a cosmic pas de deux, a quiet interplay of forces that reminds us how connected we are to the sun's distant pulse. As these clouds merge with our protective shield, they sometimes spark the auroras, weaving light into the night. The sun itself breathes through a slow and steady rhythm, a cycle that stretches across 11 peaceful years. During the solar maximum, it becomes more active and vibrant, its surface dancing with bright flares and luminous energy. Then comes the solar minimum, a time of deep quiet, when the solar system settles into a hushed stillness. It is like a deep, calming exhale after a bright and lively inhale, a cosmic heartbeat that cradles all the planets in its gentle pulse. Imagine this rhythm as a lullaby, sung by the star that gives us light, its phases weaving through space with a tender, unseen grace. High above us, in the silent void of space, satellites drift like sleeping birds on gentle currents. They are more exposed to the sun's gentle breath, its solar winds washing over them with a soft, invisible touch. During solar events, these tiny vessels may experience soft glitches as charged particles float through their delicate circuitry. In that profound silence where no sound can travel, these machines rest in a state of suspended animation, their sensors occasionally stirred by the faintest whisper of solar energy. It is a quiet dance, a subtle reminder of the sun's distant influence, felt even in the deepest reaches of our quiet sky. The photosphere is the visible face of the sun, a shimmering sea of soft, granulated gold. This surface is not smooth but rippling, like a golden pond under a soft breeze, each granule a cell of light rising and falling in a slow, hypnotic motion. From this glowing layer, light begins its long, peaceful journey across 93 million miles of space. It travels through the void, a gentle messenger of warmth, until it finally reaches us, touching our skin with a tender, ancient glow. Close your eyes and feel that light, a quiet echo of the sun's eternal fire, delivered to you after a voyage of pure stillness. Rest in that warmth, letting it carry you into a deep, quiet peace. Scientists use specialized telescopes to watch the sun in a state of perpetual golden twilight. These instruments filter the brilliant glare, revealing a softer world where the sun's aura unfolds in gentle curves and feathery plumes. They observe the corona, the sun's outer atmosphere, where wispy, cloud-like streamers of gas float far above the solar surface. These delicate formations drift like silk scarves in a slow-motion dance, revealing the sun's quiet power. To see them is to witness a hidden realm, a dreamscape of light and shadow that only the most patient eyes can behold. In this quiet observation, the sun becomes not a blazing fire, but a gentle lantern in the cosmic night. When the solar wind reaches the poles, it stirs a quiet humming of energy in the upper atmosphere. This process transforms the cold, dark void of the Arctic and Antarctic nights into a luminous, floating garden of light. Imagine curtains of green and violet, swaying softly in the sky, a silent symphony played out over the frozen landscapes. Beneath this celestial display, the world feels suspended in a timeless calm, where every shimmer tells a story of particles dancing in the cold air. It is the Earth's own nightlight, a gentle reminder of the sun's distant touch, painting the darkness with dreams of color. Let your mind float with those lights, drifting upward into the night where all is quiet and still. In the gentle quiet of this moment, let your thoughts drift upward, beyond the clouds, beyond the blue, into the silent sea of space where our sun holds court. Imagine a time long ago, in the year 1859, when the sky itself became a canvas of wonder. The Carrington Event was the most powerful solar storm ever recorded, a great wave of energy that bathed the Earth in a soft golden light. In those days, telegraph wires hummed with an unexpected life. The operators, amazed, saw tiny sparks drifting from their machines, and messages were sent across the wires even after the power was disconnected, as if the sun itself was whispering along the lines. It was a moment when the heavens reached down and gently touched our world. That same solar energy, in quieter times, paints the dark polar skies with colors that dance and sway. When solar storms travel to us, they create the auroras, the northern and southern lights. These are peaceful ribbons of light, weaving gracefully across the firmament. Charged particles from the sun drift into our planet's magnetic embrace, gently merging with the field, and in that joining, the night is painted in soft shades of emerald green and violet. Sometimes they appear like curtains of light, swaying gently in a cosmic breeze, and then they fade, leaving only the stars to watch over the sleeping world. It is a silent, shimmering ballet, a gift from the star that gives us life. And if you look even closer, at the sun itself, there is a surprising secret. The corona, its outermost atmosphere, is hotter than its visible surface. This is a mystery that glows in the mind. The corona extends millions of kilometers into space, a shimmering veil of plasma, fine as silk, drifting away from the sun like a halo of ethereal fire. During a total eclipse, this pearly light becomes visible, a delicate whisper of the sun's true nature, reminding us that the most beautiful things are often hidden, waiting for the right moment to be seen. It is a quiet reminder that even the most familiar things hold gentle wonders. Sometimes, the sun releases vast clouds of this plasma, called coronal mass ejections. These are not violent storms, but rather great breaths of solar wind floating quietly through the vacuum. They travel across the emptiness with a kind of slow, purposeful grace. When these clouds reach Earth, they do not crash or break. Instead, they wrap around our planet in a protective embrace, interacting with the magnetic shield that keeps us safe. The Earth's magnetic field is like a loyal guardian, always holding space for these solar gifts, turning them into the quiet dance of the auroras we love. It is as if the Earth is held in a soft, invisible cocoon, a quiet shelter from the sun's deep exhalation. On the sun's golden face, you might see dark patches, soft ink blots against a sea of light. These are sunspots, regions that are cool and calm, quieter than the firestorm around them. They appear as gentle markings, a kind of solar freckle. These dark patches are not flaws, but gentle valleys in the solar landscape, a place where the sun's magnetic forces tangle and relax. And in these quiet places, sometimes a solar flare is born, a slow awakening that will one day send light and energy out into the solar system, blooming like a silent flower. So even the darkness on the sun is a birthplace of light, a quiet promise of warmth to come. Let these images rest gently in your mind, like petals on still water. The sun is not just a distant star, it is a living presence, breathing its energy into our nights and days. So sleep now, wrapped in the quiet glow of these cosmic stories. Deep within the vastness of space, Earth drifts, wrapped in a gentle, shimmering shield. This magnetic cocoon, invisible to the eye, deflects the constant stream of solar wind, guiding the energetic particles away like a soft, flowing river around a smooth stone. Within this tranquil bubble, life unfolds in quiet balance, undisturbed by the cosmic currents that race past. We float through the heavens, cradled by this unseen protector, moving in a slow, harmonious dance with the sun. Sometimes, the sun stirs more deeply, sending out bursts of energy that ripple through its planetary system. High above our heads, satellites in their silent orbits feel these subtle nudges, tiny shifts in their delicate electronics. Scientists watch these faint signals with careful, patient eyes, tracing the ebb and flow of the sun's 11-year breathing cycle. It is a slow rhythm, a heartbeat measured in decades, reminding us that even our mighty star rests and awakens in its own quiet time. And always there is the solar wind, a ceaseless, silent stream flowing outward from the sun at unimaginable speeds. This invisible breeze carries the very essence of our star, a soft exhalation of charged particles that fills the entire solar system with a warm, unseen glow. It bathes every planet, every moon, in a constant, gentle touch, a quiet reminder that we are all connected to the heart of our local cosmos, drifting together through the dark. In the deepest, most peaceful parts of the ocean, some whisper that these solar storms play a hidden role in the journeys of great travelers. Whales and birds, navigating vast silent distances, may feel the shifting magnetic lines that drift with the sun's moods. They trace these invisible pathways to find their way home, following the Earth's quiet song across the blue expanse. It is a slow, ancient guidance, a soft compass written in the sky and sea, leading them through the calm. At the heart of it all, the sun's core hums with a steady, ancient warmth, a nuclear fusion that has burned for billions of years. This slow energy rises through the star's layers, a gentle journey outward, before finally floating across the great void to touch our skin. It is the same warmth that wakes the flowers and paints the sky at dusk, a quiet, steadfast lullaby from the cosmos, whispering softly to every living thing. You're still drifting, so weightless. The sun's quiet hum wrapping around you like a blanket. Let go of the day and rest in the glow. Let your thoughts drift back to the year 1859, to a warm September night when the sky itself seemed to hum with a strange energy. The Carrington Event remains the most powerful geomagnetic storm ever recorded. It was so intense that telegraph wires began to glow with a mysterious, ghostly light. Operators discovered something almost magical. They could unplug their batteries and still send messages, for the very atmosphere had become charged with a floating, electric energy. From that quiet miracle, we glimpse the sun's deep and constant dance. Solar flares release immense amounts of energy that drifts across the silent vacuum of space. This energy often takes the shape of coronal mass ejections, vast glowing clouds of plasma. They travel millions of miles, like silent messengers, to gently touch the Earth's magnetic shield, a soft knock on our cosmic door. And when they arrive, the sky shares its most tender secrets. The aurora borealis and the aurora australis are the visual whispers of these solar storms. They appear as dancing curtains of emerald and violet light. This happens when solar particles softly merge with oxygen and nitrogen in the upper atmosphere, creating a peaceful, shimmering glow, a silent lullaby painted across the polar skies. But deep around our world, a quiet, invisible cocoon holds us safe. The magnetosphere is a magnetic embrace that deflects most of the solar wind. It ensures the surface remains a serene sanctuary for all living things, a gentle shield that never sleeps, quietly guarding the fragile blue planet. Sometimes, that delicate bond becomes very clear. In 1989, a solar storm drifted over Quebec, Canada, and the province's power grid peacefully faded into darkness for several hours. There was no panic, just a soft quiet as the lights went out. This event remains a gentle reminder of the floating connection between our modern life and the ancient rhythms of the sun. Imagine the gentle face of the sun, a golden disk painted with small, dark islands. These are sunspots, cool and quiet regions where the sun's magnetic fields gather, becoming dense and concentrated. They are not marks of chaos, but soft cradles of energy, drifting slowly across the solar disk for weeks at a time. Each dark patch holds the seed of a future solar flare, resting in profound stillness before it ever stirs. They seem like silent thoughts on the sun's glowing skin, carrying the promise of light yet to be born. From these tranquil shadows, powerful flares will one day blossom like quiet flowers into the sky, but for now they are only a promise kept in darkness. The sun breathes in a long, rhythmic cycle that spans 11 years. During the solar maximum, the star shines with a vibrant pulse, its magnetic fields twisting into bright loops and flaring petals of light. Then, in time, it exhales into the solar minimum, a deep and celestial stillness that settles over the quieting star. This gentle rise and fall feels like the heartbeat of our solar system, a slow cosmic breath that cradles the planets in its rhythm. During the solar minimum, the surface becomes smooth and hushed, as if the sun is gathering its breath for the next rise. This cycle has turned over and over, like a gentle wheel, long before our planet formed, a timeless rhythm that connects us to the depths of the cosmos. We live within that breath, feeling its warmth and its calm. Humanity has sent a quiet messenger to touch this breathing light. The Parker Solar Probe glides closer to the sun than any craft has ever ventured, slipping through the warm, flowing currents of the solar wind. It feels the sun's whispers, tracing the gentle mysteries that radiate outward. Its heat shield protects delicate instruments as it drifts through the outer atmosphere, tasting the very substance of the star. Through this mission, we come to understand the soft, patient presence that holds our worlds in orbit, learning the sun's tender secrets one delicate measurement at a time. It is a dance of curiosity and trust, moving ever nearer to the heart of our star. Those solar particles travel at incredible speeds, born from the corona's shimmering light. Yet they move through a silent, velvet void, a vast emptiness that carries them without a sound. Their journey from the sun's outer atmosphere to our own Earth is a long, drifting voyage, measured not in hours but in the slow, quiet expansion of space. They leave the corona in a graceful, constant stream, a silent river of energy flowing outward in all directions. And though they move at unimaginable speed, their passage is a patient one, a slow drift across the dark. They travel as if in a dream, unhurried and serene, like feathers floating on an invisible breeze. When they finally brush against our planet's magnetic field, they whisper of distant warmth. And then there is the light itself, the purest expression of the sun's being. It takes about 8 minutes and 20 seconds for that light to float across the distance to us. In that short span, we see the sun not as it is now, but as it was, a peaceful reflection from a few moments ago. Every glance at a sunset or a morning ray is a glimpse into the past, a soft memory of the sun's eternal glow. This 8-minute delay means that the sun we see in the sky is a gentle echo, a soft image from the past. It is a reminder that all light we receive is a story from a moment ago, a quiet gift from a star that is already moving on. It reminds us that we are always connected to a luminous history, wrapped in a gentle, time-delayed embrace. The Carrington Event of 1859 remains the most powerful solar storm ever known to us. It was a moment when the sun reached out across space with a burst of energy so immense that it gently touched our small world. In that quieter age of early technology, telegraph lines began to spark with an unearthly light, their wires humming with a strange electricity that came from the sky itself. Operators discovered a kind of quiet miracle. Messages arrived from distant cities even after the machines were fully disconnected from their power. It was as if the sun itself was whispering through the copper, sharing secrets across the silent land. Coronal mass ejections, often called CMEs, are soft clouds of magnetized plasma that lift away from the sun's brilliant corona. They are vast ribbons of solar wind, drifting slowly across the immense quiet vacuum of space. These invisible travelers can move millions of miles without sound or rush, like a breath from a sleeping star. Eventually, they brush against Earth's magnetic shield with a touch so gentle it feels almost like a sigh. They carry the sun's quiet energy through the darkness, a silent connection between our world and the heart of the solar system. The Aurora Borealis and Aurora Australis are the dreamlike afterglows of this solar touch. They appear as shimmering curtains of green and violet light, draping softly across the polar skies of the north and south. These luminous displays happen when solar particles drift into the upper atmosphere and mingle with the air, creating a slow, glowing dance. The lights move like a silent mirror of the stars, a ballet of color that seems to breathe in the stillness of the night. Watching them feels like witnessing a peaceful vision, a soft reflection of the sun's hidden moods painted across the heavens. Our Earth is wrapped in a warm, invisible cocoon called the magnetosphere, a layer of magnetic energy that deflects most solar winds. This gentle shield stretches far into space, guiding those wandering particles toward the quiet corners of the poles, away from the lands where life rests. It is like a guardian woven from invisible threads, holding the solar tempest at bay so that the planet can remain a serene sanctuary. Beneath this protective layer, the surface sleeps in calm, floating undisturbed in the vast cosmic sea. The magnetosphere ensures that the sun's whispers become only soft light, never a shout that could wake the world.
Solar cycles follow a rhythmic, 22-year pattern, a slow celestial heartbeat. The sun alternates between periods of high energy and deep stillness with the patience of something eternal. During the solar minimum, the golden disk rests in a peaceful state, its surface almost perfectly calm, with only a few faint sunspots appearing here and there. It is a time of quiet, like a slumbering giant whose breathing is barely perceptible. Then, slowly, the sun awakens again, returning to a dance of fire and light in an endless, gentle rhythm that has pulsed for billions of years, a reminder of the vast, slow time that holds all of existence. Think of the sun's surface as a vast golden ocean, always flowing with light. In some places, the brightness softens into darker, cooler patches. These are sunspots, formed by strong magnetic fields that gently hold back the heat. They look like soft charcoal marks floating on that shimmering sea. Over many days and nights, these quiet forms drift across the solar face, moving in a slow, peaceful rhythm. It is a silent ballet of light and shadow, playing out far above our earthly concerns. They remind us that even the most powerful stars have moments of quiet reflection, like the sun's gentle breathing, a soft exhale in the endless light. Far beyond the sun, its gentle influence reaches out to touch our lives in subtle ways. Space weather, born from distant solar storms, can softly nudge the satellites that circle our world. When these storms arrive, they create a tender drag in the thin upper atmosphere. This quiet force causes satellites to drift slightly lower in their orbital paths, a slow, whispering descent. It is a delicate interaction, a cosmic hand guiding these machines with a feather-light touch, all while we remain unaware on the ground below. This drift happens so subtly that we never feel it, a testament to the gentle power of our nearest star. The satellites continue their orbits, slightly lower, enveloped in the sun's quiet breath. Now, imagine a river, but not of water. It is a river of charged particles, constantly flowing from the sun. This is the solar wind, a ceaseless stream that extends far beyond the edge of our solar system. It moves like a silent river of light, carrying the sun's influence to the furthest, coldest reaches of the galaxy. There, in the deep dark, this gentle flow connects us to the cosmos, a soft sigh from the heart of our star. It is a never-ending journey, a quiet pilgrimage of energy that spans the void. You can think of it as the sun's way of sending its warmth beyond the visible light, a secret message whispered across space. This solar wind shapes the boundaries of our cosmic home, a gentle embrace in the vastness of space. Some solar storms are so subtle, they whisper rather than roar. Only the most sensitive instruments can detect their soft presence, like those on the Parker Solar Probe. This brave craft drifts closer to the sun than any human-made object ever has. It floats through the warm corona, a silver leaf on a gentle stellar breeze, studying the solar wind's origin. In this quiet mission, it touches the sun's breath, returning with secrets from the edge of light. The probe's journey is a slow, patient drift, a testament to human curiosity reaching into the sun's embrace. It listens to the sun's most intimate whispers, gathering knowledge from the warm depths of the corona. When solar particles meet the oxygen and nitrogen in our air, they create a soft, glowing tapestry. This gentle collision releases energy in a spectrum of colors, painting the sky with emerald and crimson hues. It is a velvet canopy of light, wrapping the earth in a quiet, celestial blanket. This aurora dances without sound, a luminous lullaby for those who look up. In these moments, the sun and earth share a silent conversation that becomes the most beautiful piece. This light shimmers quietly across the polar skies, a gentle reminder of our connection to the sun. It is a celestial ballet, slow and serene, that lulls the night into a dream. The colors shift and flow, a soft breath of light that echoes the sun's distant pulse.
The Carrington Event of 1859 is a memory etched in the stars. A solar storm of legendary softness, a massive coronal mass ejection drifting toward us. It moved so quietly, so vast and deep in its silent journey. On Earth, telegraph wires hummed with a quiet magic that night. Operators saw sparks jump from their equipment like tiny fireflies waking in the dark. They sent messages without batteries, carried only by the sun's warm, soft breath. It was a whisper from the heavens, deep and vast and infinitely warm, a secret shared in the stillness of night, so gentle you might have missed it. The air felt charged, trembling with a light you could almost touch. A memory of when the sky spoke in silence. And when solar particles brush our atmosphere, they create the auroras. The aurora borealis and australis, shimmering curtains of light in the polar skies. Electrons dance with oxygen and nitrogen atoms, a quiet ballet in the heavens. They paint the night in emerald green and deep violet, colors so soft they seem to breathe. It's like the earth herself is dreaming, a still and silent glow. These lights are a lullaby, humming through the cold air, so soothing you can feel it on your skin. They ripple like silk scarves in a gentle wind, a visual whisper that calms the soul. In the deep cold, they are a warm blanket of light. Solar flares are immense bursts of radiance from the sun. They travel at the speed of light, reaching us in just 8 fleeting minutes. While they seem distant, these waves of energy softly interact with our ionosphere. They alter the way long-distance radio waves float across the globe, a gentle reshaping of invisible pathways. It's a subtle touch, so light you might not even notice. Like the sun's eyelashes fluttering against our world, a whisper in the radio silence. These flares are a reminder of the sun's quiet power, a distant heartbeat that we only feel as a soft echo. In the vast darkness, they are a faint pulse of warmth. The sun possesses a magnetic cycle that breathes in and out. Every 11 years, it shifts from a quiet state to a period of high activity. During solar maximum, the surface is dotted with sunspots. These are cooler, darker regions, still pools of shadow on a blazing sea. Here, magnetic energy gathers peacefully, deep and calm. It's a slow heartbeat from 93 million miles away, a rhythm that rocks the cosmos. The cycle is like the breath of a sleeping giant, steady and soothing. In the quiet times, the sun is a calm eye watching over us. Coronal holes are vast, open regions in the sun's outer atmosphere. Through these quiet gateways, the solar wind flows more freely into space. It's a steady exhale, a stream of charged particles drifting toward Earth. Often they enhance the softness of the polar lights, making them more luminous and soothing. It's a tender touch from the star, a whisper that hums through the night. So soft, it lulls you into a deep, peaceful sleep. These holes are like open windows in the sun's corona, letting out a gentle sigh. The particles travel on dark waves, reaching us as a quiet benediction. There is an invisible shield around our world, a soft magnetic cocoon. It bends the solar wind, letting it slip around us like water around a stone. In the quiet of space, satellites drift. Engineers give them a whisper of shielding, a gentle defense against the sun's soft radiation. Deep in the ocean, where light fades, some creatures might feel the sun's distant pulse. A shifting magnetic field guides them, a silent path through the vast blue dark. The photosphere glows, a warm golden skin of the sun. From there, light begins its silent journey, drifting through the cold vacuum to brush our skin. We watch the corona through special eyes, blocking the bright disk. It appears as a soft white halo, floating in the darkness, delicate as a breath held still. In the still year of 1859, a powerful yet gentle breeze from the sun swept silently across the vast dark. When it brushed Earth's atmosphere, something magical happened. Telegraph wires began to glow, a soft amber light pulsing along the metal lines like a slow, steady heartbeat. Operators found to their wonder that they could send messages without any batteries at all. The wires hummed with a celestial energy, carrying words on a current of pure, invisible light. It was as if the sun itself was whispering across the land, telling stories through glowing threads. Deep in the quiet hum, you could feel the vast, warm breath of our star, a secret lullaby woven into the electric silence. That night, the world slumbered beneath a sky alive with unseen currents, a gentle reminder of our connection to the cosmos. The aurora borealis, the northern lights, are born when solar particles drift softly into Earth's magnetic embrace. These tiny glowing travelers dance in shimmering curtains of green and violet, unfurling slowly across the deep, dark sky. The light moves like a silent breath, a peaceful luminous glow that illuminates the Arctic night with warmth you can almost feel on your skin. It is a slow, graceful dance, a lullaby of color and soft energy. In that vast stillness, the sky becomes a warm blanket of light, wrapping the sleeping world in a gentle, ethereal hug. Watch the silent waves of green and violet as they ripple, so quiet and deep, a dream woven from the sun's quiet whisper. Close your eyes and feel the soft brush of that celestial glow, like a tender kiss from the stars. Solar flares are giant, floating bubbles of plasma and energy, released from the sun's warm, restless surface. They drift away with a gentle, silent push, immense yet unhurried, traveling through the quiet vacuum of space over several long days. In that vast dark, they are but soft, glowing embers, carrying the sun's warm breath across the void. Their journey is a slow, steady pulse, a quiet heartbeat that crosses 93 million miles of stillness. By the time these warm bubbles reach the edge of our sky, their energy has softened into a gentle nudge, a warm sigh against our invisible shield. Feel that distant calming rhythm, a reminder that even the most powerful forces move with a deep, silent grace. They are like dream seeds sown by the sun, floating through the night. The Earth is wrapped in a hidden, invisible cocoon called the magnetosphere. This magnetic shield hums with a quiet strength, gently deflecting most solar winds and guiding that raw energy around the planet. It flows like a soft, invisible river around a stone, a vast, protective embrace that holds the fierce sun at bay. Deep in this silent cocoon, we rest undisturbed, swaddled in a warm, magnetic lullaby. Feel the gentle curve of this shield, a soft, sturdy blanket that turns the sun's harsh breath into a sigh. As you drift into sleep, imagine that vast, invisible river flowing quietly above, keeping you safe in its silent, cosmic care. Its strength is soft, its presence unfelt, yet it cradles our world in a warm, steady hum. In the quiet year of 1921, a gentle solar storm drifted softly toward Earth. Its touch was so light that most people slept on, unaware. But the lights of New York City flickered and dimmed, as if the whole electric city exhaled a slow, sleepy breath. This soft disturbance was a quiet revelation, showing how our modern electrical heartbeats are delicately connected to the distant rhythms of the sun. Even now, in the hum of the power lines, you can almost hear the sun's slow, steady pulse, a lullaby from 93 million miles away. Let that soft, flickering memory remind you that we are all part of a vast cosmic flow, a gentle current of energy that sings us to sleep. The sun's whisper touched the city, and for a moment, the world grew stiller. Close your eyes. Let the weight of the day melt away. We are drifting now into the quiet vastness of space, where the sun's secrets are whispered on solar winds. Listen to the soft hum of the cosmos. Just breathe, and let these gentle facts wrap around you like a warm blanket of starlight. Vast clouds of magnetized plasma float through the solar system. They are soft, immense, and silent, like breath from the sun. Imagine them drifting, slow and unseen, across the dark expanse. When these clouds arrive at Earth, they wrap our world in a warm, invisible embrace of energy. It is a gentle magnetic touch, a whisper from that distant star. Sensitive satellites detect this subtle shift, a faint heartbeat in the solar wind. The Earth feels this soft energy and continues spinning quietly in the velvet darkness. The Sun's outer atmosphere is called the corona. It is a shimmering halo of pearly white light, a delicate crown that surrounds that golden body. This ethereal glow is hidden most of the time, but during a total solar eclipse, the moon softly hides the sun's blazing center. Then, the corona reveals itself, a lacework of pale, radiant light spreading outward like angels' wings. It is a fleeting beauty, seen only in that moment of perfect alignment. The corona is the sun's softest secret, breathed into the stillness of space. Look closely at the sun's surface, and you might see sunspots. They are cooler, darker patches, like soft ink blots on a vast golden canvas. These regions mark where the sun's magnetic fields weave together in complex, silent patterns. Sometimes, they release a gentle stream of particles, a soft sigh that escapes into the quiet. It is not a violent outburst, but a slow, steady exhale. These spots are the sun's quiet contemplations, dark and still, on the surface of a dreaming star. They pulse with a silent energy, a reminder that even in stillness there is life deep within the sun's golden heart. Far above us, in the deep silence of orbit, satellites drift. They are the first to feel the solar storm's gentle touch as the solar wind shifts and sighs. These machines, built by human hands, carry delicate electronics that must be shielded from the sun's energy. Specialized shielding wraps them in protection, like a soft, invisible cocoon. So they glide peacefully through the vast, dark sea, undisturbed by the distant whispers. They continue their silent watch, tracking the sun's breath, adrift in the endless night. They move through the shadows and light, tiny sentinels of our curiosity. The sun follows a slow, rhythmic pattern, like breathing. This solar cycle repeats every 11 years, a steady pulse in the cosmic darkness. It governs when the sun is most active, with flares and dancing light, and when it settles into a period of quiet, golden stillness. Imagine the sun inhaling and exhaling across decades, a gentle lullaby for the planets. During the quiet times, the sun rests, dreaming in soft gold. Then, it breathes out again, a wave of gentle energy, moving through us and on into the void. And so, the sun and its children, these wandering clouds and shimmering halos, drift on through the endless night. The satellites glide, the cycles turn, and we rest here, tiny and precious, under a blanket of golden light. Let this knowledge be a soft lullaby, carrying you deeper into dreams. Sleep now, in the gentle embrace of the universe. In the quiet polar night, auroras drift as shimmering curtains of green and purple, a celestial dance where the solar wind gently kisses the upper atmosphere and glows. The Carrington Event swept Earth in 1859 with a silent wave of light, so luminous that midnight became a warm silver moon, and people read by its gentle glow. Coronal mass ejections are vast clouds of glowing plasma drifting from the sun, silent bubbles of energy carrying the parent star's warmth through the endless void of space. The magnetosphere curves around Earth like a soft silk blanket, an invisible shield guiding solar whispers to the poles while the world rests in its calm embrace. The sun breathes in an 11-year rhythm, from quiet minimum to vibrant maximum, sending soft ripples of energy that drift through the solar system like a gentle sigh. Solar whispers drift into our world through golden and copper wires, stirring a slow current that makes our lights flicker like distant candles swaying in an unseen breeze. In the quiet of the space station, astronauts float in shielded chambers, a peaceful cocoon while solar winds softly wash over the craft's hull. Sunspots bloom on the sun's golden face, dark inkblots cradling the slow, graceful ballet of magnetic lines that birth the storms. The Parker Solar Probe, a brave tiny vessel, glides through the sun's warm corona, gathering whispers of data from the flowing, luminous plasma sea. A clear night sky reveals a timeless river of solar wind, forever connecting us to the warm, glowing heart of our solar system. And now, our quiet voyage through the solar storms ends here. Your mind has been carried far across the silent sea of space, and now it's time to let all that drift away. If this gentle narration helped carry you toward rest, please leave a like, soft as a falling star, and subscribe, so my voice can find you again whenever sleep feels distant. Good night, sleep well, and remember, even in the deepest quiet, you are still cradled by the same sun that dances with storms. Rest now, everything is exactly as it should be.